Hi everyone, it's Gail. I am here with the beginnings of a new series. I'm going to do this journal start to finish and video it for you. Mostly because this one's a little bit different. This is a custom order Christmas journal, and my customer wants to have this journal to put her son's photos from Christmases past in, and then give it to him. So we're looking at kind of a masculine Christmas journal, more masculine, and then also places for a lot of photos. So it's an awesome challenge. It's a unique sort of set of criteria. Oh, the other thing is she doesn't like poinsettias. So not her favorite. So we're going to avoid the poinsettias as well. But she contacted me after I got this little book at a estate sale, and it's, as you can see, it's really in pretty rough shape, but she loved it, and as you can see, it's been written on and that kind of thing. But I'm going to incorporate as much of this book as possible in the journal. As well, I am going to use these Blue Fern Studio papers that I got from Lots of Bubbles for Me on Etsy. I'll link her shop below. But yeah, I'm going to use these. I have a few of each. Some of them I only have one. And they're pretty, well, first of all, they have other kind of Christmas flowers besides poinsettias, so that's good. And then they're not as, I don't know, they're not super frilly. They're also more of the Victorian look, the same as this book. So like, it's the Victorian children, and it matches really, really well. So I'm excited about that. So these are the papers that I'm going to use. I think they'll be lots of fun to use, and I think they'll probably be more of the heavier cardstock type paper in this book, only because we're going to fix it up so that photos can be added to this book. So that is the paper, and I am going to do the cover today. So I thought, what a great place to start, right? So these are some of the fabrics and things that I'm going to use. This is the paper that I'm going to use on the inside. And then I'll show you what I'm using for the base. So for the base, I'm going to use this cracker box. They're good, sturdy cardstock, so I love that about them. And once you add the fabric and another piece of, it's cardboard, not cardstock, cardboard. And then I'll add the cardstock to it and the everything else that I'm going to add to it, and I think it'll be a nice hefty book. So first thing I want to do is I did trim it up from just cutting it up to make a cover out of it, and I left a little bit here to show you because I've cut around it. You see here how this is kind of ridged. Well, I try and cut on the inside of where it folds, if that makes sense. So for instance, that I am just gonna cut that, I would just cut that sliver off like that. And I did that on the top already. Sides and bottom, no big deal, because we're gonna cut those to size. So I still want this to be a 9 by 6-ish, and I decided to go 6.5 on it, and I'll tell you why. And that, normally I do 9 by 6 for the most part on journals, unless the book is, it's a vintage book or something and it's a different size, then you adjust. But I like the 9x6 because an 8.5 by 11 paper, you fold it in half, you're ready to go for your signature, no cutting or anything. This one, I decided to go 6.5, and that's because since it is for a man, I'm not going to put a lot of lace on the edges. And so that I want to make sure that the pages, you know, are within the cover, if that makes sense. So I have these heavy duty scissors from Fiskars that I got from Joann's, and I am just going to cut this to size here. And then we're just going to get started getting this thing covered and getting it ready to go. Like I say, I'm real excited about this project. I've been thinking about this project for about a week, just trying to get my head around, first of all, getting all the places for photos and some ideas for that. And then also, you know, the whole masculine thing. And in some ways easier for Christmas, I think, a little bit. But, you know, normally if I were to do a masculine journal, I'd probably just go right to Tim Holtz fabric, you know, or paper, I mean. Well, paper and fabric. Because his stuff just lends itself so well to the masculine side of things. But since it's a Christmas one, I really had to kind of think about it. And her main thing too was incorporating that little book from the estate sale. Okay, so now we've got ourselves a nice 9x6.5 cover, and as you can see, the spine is going to be big on this. Let's see how big it is. Where is my ruler? There we go. So it's going to be a 3-inch spine. So this will have multiple signatures, but his whole life of Christmas photos is going to go into this book. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So let us begin. I'm going to set this stuff aside, the stuff that we're going to decorate the front with, and we're just going to get the fabric and the paper on there and go from there. And we are going to use the cover of this book on the cover of the journal. So that's somewhat of the plan. I think first thing I'll do is kind of try and figure out this paper. Since it's the cover is 6.5, we're going to have to probably use 2 of them. And I think what I'm going to do is go 6.5 and 6.5, and then we'll do something else on the spine. That I'm kind of thinking about on the fly because I didn't think about it ahead of time. So let me get my paper cutter, and we'll just do 6.5 and 6.5, and then we can use the other side for other things. So that'll be great. This is also fun because they've decorated, you know, the strip, which is kind of fun. I guess I don't really need to take that off at this point. Oh yes, I do. To cut it, I do. So that's great. We might be able to use that in some way for decoration and stuff once we get to that point. Okay, so as you can see, this has a little something here and a little something here. So I'm going to try and do opposite sides so I save, save one of each. So let's do 6.5 out this way. Right there. Okay, so we've got this little gingerbread house left there. And then this one, let's take this off. I may use a little bit of Graphic 45 in this journal as well, because I do think I have some Night Before Christmas Graphic 45, and of course that's what the book is. Okay, so we want to go this way on this one and go 6.5 right there. Okay, and then we kept this for something else. So that's great. That's great. Okay, so now I'm just going to set this down for a minute while we look at this. Okay, so that's fine. Now the fabric will be coming around the edge, so that's all good. Yeah, so we'll just do those that way. Okay. Excuse me while I be quiet and think for a second. Okay, and then we're gonna make them 9, let's see, 9 inches long. That's a pretty little piece left to use too. I'll try and save those pieces a little bit since they're not going to show on the cover anyway. Okay. All right. So there's a couple scraps to use. Love this paper. As you guys know, if you watch my channel, I am a fan of the Blue Fern Studios for sure. Okay, so that's for the insides of there. So we're ready there. Now let's think about this fabric, which I love this. I found this. This was a gift to me in one of my Happy Mails, and it's absolutely perfect for this this particular project. So I'm very grateful that it came into my world. So I'm going to leave, just eyeballing it about an inch on each side of the fabric. So somewhere I have sewing scissors. They have migrated to my other table. Okay, so we're just gonna cut this. About an inch. Okay. So we have a little bit left to play with, which might end up coming in handy on the spine, right? I actually think I might do that and then just put some trim on the edge. Yep, let's do that. I'm gonna want to have that on first, I think, because I'm gonna want the paper to kind of cover it up. And still we have a little extra here, so that's good. Okay, and then this is going to be the 3 inches. So we are about here. And I'm just going to tear this so it will go straight. Okay. Okay, we got that. Let me grab my Fabri-Tac. That's what we're going to use to kind of get things down, and then we'll sew around it. I've put brown thread in my sewing machine. So yeah, we're just going to give this a little. And, it's like, who knows where the stitching is going to be. So I'm just going to run some Fabri-Tac down there, and it won't be that bad to poke through when we're doing our spine. So I'm just gonna put that on there. Got a little overhang here, so we're just gonna cut that. And that's just so that the outside cover will fold over well, you know. Okay, so now that is going to be, but that will be down in this. Okay, just talking to myself, excuse me. Okay, we're going to get this fabric on here, but I need to cut a little bit off of the edge and just have, so that I only have about an inch overhang. So we're just going to get that off of there. There we go. Now I think the size is just about perfect. So right, yep, that'll be good. Okay, so I think I'll add a little random glue in places, and this isn't, I mean, it's going to be sewed on, so it's not for anything other than to kind of keep it still while I do the edges. I could use my double-sided tape also, but Fabri-Tac's right there, so I'm just going to use that. Just going to lay this down and press. Just checking to make sure I've been in frame this whole time. And we're just going to press that until we kind of feel like it's dry a little bit. Get rid of a string on the inside. Okay, and now we're just going to go around the edges and get it Fabri-Tac'd down. And then we'll put on the papers. Okay, so I'm just going to give this, actually I'm going to go on the fabric here. Give that a squirt on the edge. And again, we're just getting this tacked down so that when we sew it, it's not going to go anywhere. So I've got my glue line here, so I can go around the edge well enough with my sewing machine. Okay, so I'm just going to make, I hope that's in frame. Yes. I'm just going to make a little sort of mitered corner here. And I don't know, I just mess with it till I figure it out. But I think making a triangle this way and then up is going to be the cleanest way to do it. So what I'm going to do is glue my triangle first. So, give that a good glue. So I'm just coming up to meet the edge basically. And then we're gonna give that side a good glue. So there will be glue kind of on the corners as we go around. Okay. This is tricky to be able to make it easy for me and make sure you can see too. So I'm just gonna pull it up and stick it down. That's the nice thing about Fabri-Tac too, is it does dry fairly quickly. So look, it's already holding that corner, so you know you can kind of move along fairly quickly on the thing. So just gonna give another Another squirt there. Get this part up. Sorry if I go out of camera a little bit, but I need to make sure it's flat. Okay. Okay, and then once again, I'm going to make a little triangle right here that just goes up to the edge of the book. And then get that stuck down. And just make sure it's as neat as can be. I am actually going to put book corners on this book cover, so it doesn't have to, I mean, you know, you can cover up some errors or whatever with the book corners, but I really kind of want it to be as flat as possible for getting those on there even. Okay. I'm just pulling that as tight as I can on there. Okay, and again, we're going to do our triangle. I think you'll be able to see that really well on this one because it's a little bit longer piece. So see, the triangle just goes up to the edge like that. And then we're going to glue down the triangle. There we go. Ugh, got a little bit of glue creeping out, but that's okay because we're going to have the paper here anyway. And of course my Fabri-Tac is volcanoing on me because I'm not putting the cap on in between, but I'm busy. I can't get, I only have two hands here. Okay, so this one I'm only going to go down not quite to the corner just because it's the last one, and it'll be might be a little tricky. So, okay, now I'm gonna make my corner. Let's see, let's get a little glue right there and make my triangle like that. And then we're gonna glue it down and get the rest there. Okay, put on the cap for a second. Yeah, it does tend to do that. So just kind of working those edges, making sure they're stuck down nice and neatly. Okay, so there is the outside of our book. Isn't that fun? Now it's kind of funky shaped right now, but as we work with it and get the signatures in and stuff, that will help. Look at that. Oh gosh. Okay, so now we're going to put the papers down like so. But what I'm going to do is just put a little glue in the middle, because this, we really just need this to stick while we're sewing. Okay, so that'll be good. I'm going to just line it up with the edges as best as possible. Okay. Okay, so there's that one. And then this one goes this way. It's got some faint writing on it, and I'm just making sure that it is, you know, right side up. Okay, so there we go with this one. We'll get it right up to the edge as much as possible as well, because we want our book to close. Okay. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and sew that prior to putting any sort of trim or anything right there. Okay, to clean up a little bit so that we can sew. I really need to get a little bit of this glue off of my fingers. It's not so much the glue as the pieces of material that are stuck to me. The fabric, yeah. So, oh, I'm so excited to be on the road with this one. This is going to be fun. So yeah, I'm thinking this is going to be a 3 signature book. I mean, I need to leave some room because when she puts photos in here, it's going to bulk up. But yeah, I'm thinking three signatures. Okay, I think I can manage with that. Okay. Let's now get our sewing machine. I've put some brown thread in this sewing machine. So that's what we're going to work with here. Make sure I'm in camera. And I am going to want to go very close right up to the edge on this one. I'm just looking at my stitches and making sure there isn't something else I would like to do, but I don't know. I'm thinking we're just gonna go with the zigzag. Okay, so I usually start on the back corner. I'm kind of working around my tripod here, guys, so it's kind of tricky. I'm sorry, I'm gonna just move you back slightly because I can't quite get to my book here. Okay, let's see how we are in frame since I moved the camera. Okay, let's give this a whirl, see if we can do this. Gotta move my camera back a little bit more. There we go. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead and back stitch on this. I'm sorry, this might be a little like paint drying because I am going to go slow because it's thick. With the chipboard, it's thick. So if I was better at editing videos, or if I could do it at all, let's be honest, then I would edit this part out, but I'm not. Artie Mays has that down, doesn't she? Have you been watching her series? She does great series too, so I've really enjoyed. They're kind of my right before bed thing. Okay, I'm just gonna go one more like that. Okay, now we're gonna go around, do the long side here. So I've been a few days without doing a video because my husband and I took a little trip up to the Canadian border. That was fun for a couple of days. We went up and got our, you know how there's the TSA pre-check at the airport? Well, for like $15 more a person, you can get a global one. So like all of your global travel is quicker. Not that we really have any plans for that, but we thought for $15 we might as well do it. So we went to Sweetgrass, Montana, which is right on the Canadian border. It was quite the experience, really. It was because, you know, you do a application, but then they do a background check, and then this was we went up there for the face-to-face interviews, and so that was really cool. It was just interesting to see kind of how they do that whole border thing. I think I need one more stitch, guys. That's, there we go. Yep, that's just right. Yeah, so we had 3 border control security people. I think, I'm not sure that's their exact title or whatever, but interviewing us, and gosh, it was interesting. I mean, fingerprinting and eye scans, and yeah, it was the real deal. So it was really kind of interesting. And I think I'm saying this correctly. I don't think my husband's been up there either. I had never been that far north in Montana. And wow, it's a lot of farmland and oil fields is what it is. So, but it was fun to see that part of Montana that I hadn't been in. So I enjoyed it. It was just fun. We probably didn't need to spend the night because it was about 3.5 hours from here. But we went up and spent the night in a little town called Shelby. And that was lovely. Just relaxed. That's all we did, really, was just relax. Ugh, it's sticking right there. Why? Ugh. Okay, well, we'll see. Must have been something that made it unhappy right there. That's okay. That stuff's gonna happen. So we'll have to see on the inside. We may need to do something right there. I don't know. You know, as I've said before, they're handmade, so they're not going to be perfect. And that's some of the charm, actually. I mean, I think there's various levels of not perfect, but it's going to be close. It's just got a little hiccup right there. Okay, so that's it for the sewing machine, I do believe. So let's see how we are. And where is, I can't even find the place where it, oh, it's on the spine. It's on the spine. You know what? It's just, was just a thick part of the chipboard. So you can't even see it. So there you go. Okay, so now we've got our little book made. We need some trim down there. It's gonna probably have to be some sort of lace. I'm thinking about that. You know, as I said, this is for a guy, so I don't want it to be super lacy, but it may not show a whole lot. So let's look. I'm thinking that this box might have something. How about some coffee dyed lace, and maybe we just barely go over. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Let's use that. That way. Oh, I just saw something else. Let's look at this. Let's look at this. Nope, I don't like it as well. Okay. Or let's go with the original idea here. So, I think I'll just let a little bit of it show and have most of it on the spine, maybe. Yeah. And it's, I mean, it's not then super frilly. I didn't think I'd get all the way through making this journal without some sort of lace. I barely started and I already have lace happening. But I don't think you won't see a lot of it, so I think it's going to be just fine. Okay. Okay, so let's get that put down on the inside here. And so I am going to line that up right with this stripe right here. And then it's about that thick. So we'll just go up. Maybe have a little bit on either side of where the spine bends. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to be all gluey again. Oh, it's just how it is. It's just how it is. Okay, that's going to be good. Okay, and then this one, where do we want it lined up? I think kind of on this little barely seen white strip here. Okay, and then about right over to here. Okay, get that one on. And then we'll be to decorating the front, which I'm excited about doing. Okay, so let's let that dry for a second, and I'm going to set that aside because there is some work to be done on this little guy. He is frayed and kind of sad. So I'm thinking about how to sort of repair him, sort of toughen him up. You know, the first thing I think I'm going to do is go around the edge with just a tiny bit of the Fabri-Tac and just kind of get some of those frayed edges down. And we're going to put something on the edges of these anyway. You guys, I don't know. I think this video may end up being more than an hour because I want to finish the cover in this video, and I'm not sure I'm going to get it done in. So I'm just putting this on, honestly, just to toughen this up a little bit. Just give it a little thickness there. Okay, and this edge, I've already decided that I am going to use some of this fabric just to put around it. So let's do that. Okay. And just going to go right up to there. And then I'm going to put some glue on the actual spine there. We'll put some on this side and we'll get more on that side as we get this on here. So just want to go right there on the edge of, there's a little red line there that I'm using as guide. Okay. like that as far as the color and everything. A little bit of glue squishing out there. Okay, and so then this side is not going to show, but I want it glued down anyway. Okay. All right, so there's that. Okay, so I am going to go grab something. I will be right back. Where is it? Sorry guys, I had it hidden from myself, apparently. Okay, so this is Inka Gold, and I'm going to go around the edges with some Inka Gold. And my Inka Gold is old. I mean, I've had it for years, and it's all dried up. But if you add a little water to it, it will then kind of reconstitute, and you can use it again. So let's see how dried up it is. It's a sad state of affairs. So I'm just going to add some water to it. I'm trying to get the glue off my fingers enough for me to do this. And not get glue all in my Inka Gold. Okay. So then I just rub it around on the Inka Gold and see it comes back to life. So I just thought this raggedy edge could just use a little something. So I'm just gonna go around it with the Inka Gold. And that does help these kind of frayed edges look a little more, I don't know, it looks a little more intentional or something. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's helping. Kind of like using distress ink, you know, to kind of frame out a card or something. Okay, so maybe I can show you that closer up. So see how that kind of, these were just really just, you could see the chipboard underneath the book. So that'll be good. Okay, so we did that. Now I can put my Inka Gold away for the next 6 months. I hardly ever use it, but boy, when I want it, it is the best. So let's clean me up before I make a mess here. And hopefully that's getting dry. I am going to see if this is dry. Pretty good. And we're going to kind of work on the front maybe. So let's think about this. So my plan is get all the stuff. My plan is to use this fabric and I want it over to the stitching because I am going to put, I think, some coffee dyed lace to cover the spine, I think, or something. I'm not sure. yet what, but I think something will be poking out that way. I'm going to actually see if that's about where I want it. Oh my gosh, the glue is driving me crazy, you guys, but okay. And then I have some tea bag that once again was gifted in Happy Mail. Is this guy dry? Yep. So then I was going to put him there. Wait, I was going to put these down here. And this kind of like that. Then I was thinking about putting this down, but this is so thick, I don't know that that's going to work. You know what, though? Hold on. Let's see. Where would it be? I think I have. This is my stuff from A Tattered Dream. I thought I had nameplates from her. But I'm not seeing them in here. I thought I had a nameplate that was just more square. Okay, let's see. Just grabbing out a different drawer to see if it's in there. Maybe I'm grabbing out the drawer. It's stuck. I see. Nope, that's all lace. Okay. Well, might have to figure that out later because I'm not sure what I did. I'm pretty sure I had some nameplates that were just square. I don't know. Or gosh, I don't know. I might have to just work on that a little bit because I did kind of want something down here. Maybe playing a little bit here and see if we can make it work. Because my thought was to put this on and to have the word memories in there. I don't know if that's going to be too thick to go through. Don't know if my plan's going to work. Well, I don't know. Might have to work on this and come back. I don't know that I like that. No. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? I actually kind of like that. Isn't it funny how sometimes when things don't work out the way you planned, how sometimes they can actually work out better than you planned? Let me see what that looks like. I like that. It's unexpected, you know? Now, I don't know that I'm going to be able to get brads through this, because this is like really thick, hard cardstock. But I could do something else there, I think. And I have an idea if I just glued this on. So, I'm going to grab my Tim Holtz words. I really want it to say memories because that is what it's going to be for her son. I've got lots of Tim Holtz's here. Okay, I have a memories there, but I'm wondering if the bigger one, if I have one perchance. Memories, yes. Okay, so I want a leftover piece of cardstock. Gosh, that's even too thick. Let's see, maybe this guy. That's close. Let's see. Yeah, and then, yep. Okay, I'm going to set that aside for a second, and we're going to get this all put down here. So, let's see, I have that basically at the corner. Okay. Kind of want this stuff to be attached to this already so that it stays put when I'm okay. Now this add a good bit of glue. Make sure that stays down. We'll go from the bottom. Okay. I think I'm going to tack these little edges down some too, just so that they're not flappy when you're opening the book. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is just run a little bit of Fabri-Tac on the edges so it doesn't fray where I've cut it. That's a question I often get, so there's the answer to that. Just you know, give it a little Fabri-Tac and that will help it to seal itself off, kind of. Ah, I am sticking to it. Ugh. Let's do this. There we go. There we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna put a good amount of Fabri-Tac on the back of this guy. Oh, I'm so excited about this journal. It's going to be fun, I think. So I might have to upload this video and power up my phone because I want to keep working so I can do the next step. Okay. Now we kind of want this right about there. Press on that a little bit just to make sure everything adheres. And then we'll get busy and fix up the nameplate. You know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of set my sewing machine on this. Okay, so this scissors. So we want it to be about that long, right? And I want it to be about there. Okay, and then the memories. It's right here. Yeah, I think that's going to work great. I think it's going to be a good, a really good size for. I'm just going to add more glue on here. There is this sticky, but you know, kind of want these journals to last forever, so okay, I'm going to stick that on there. My hands are so full of glue, it's hard to work. Okay, let's get the Distress ink. I like that. Where the glue was, the ink isn't catching as good, and it looks cool. Okay, so we're gonna. Okay, now normally I would just leave this so that whoever could change it out if they wanted, but I am going to glue this just because I think this guy, he'll probably just leave it as it is. Ugh. Just get a glue along there, on each side. And get this centered in. Exactly how we want it. I'll let that dry for a second. Get rid of this stuff and then get our cover back out. Okay, get rid of the words. Oh yeah, that's on there nice and tight now. Good, okay. So then I think I want this right about there. Oh my gosh, I love it. I'm so excited. Okay. And we're going to Fabri-Tac this on to make sure that it's going to stay there. Okay. Stand up here so I can get it on nice and straight. Okay, perfect. Now my idea for the holes is that I'm going to use some stickles. Oh, I got to grab it. Hang on. Okay. I think I'll use some red stickles in there instead of the brads. So if my red stickles is going to work, that's always iffy. That one isn't good. I think I just probably need to throw that one away, but I always keep thinking I'll get a little more out. Maybe this one's good. Oh yeah. Yes. That is going to be perfect. Okay guys, our cover's done. I'm well over an hour here, but it is finished, except for once we put the signatures in, we'll do a little something with the spine. But for now, there you have it. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching the beginning of this series, and we'll just see you in the next episode where we're going to put our papers together, I think. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.